Phew-wee. It's hot. Konnichiwa, friends. Still channeling my inner Japanese, even though the Paralympics are over. Oh, I miss it so much. Wow, what a great few days I've had. Loads to catch you up on, but I mean, primarily today, the thing is, it's hot. It's about 28 degrees outside, which is, what is that in the Fs? That's about 80, 84, 85. Yeah, I know there's a load of you who live in 110 degrees all the time. Look, for us, it's hot. And it feels especially hot because we haven't had this since, I think it was around about the 7th, 8th, 9th of July when we had a little heat wave. Otherwise, the rest of the summer has been cool and wet. Oh, I'm sweating already. Crazy sweating. I'm giddy. I'm just happy to be here and knowing that essentially I've got the whole day. In the meantime, I've had a really lovely weekend, very eclectic weekend. I will tell you more about it in a separate video that I'm planning to do this afternoon whilst I multitask. I'm going to do a garden job whilst chatting about the weekend. Essentially, my sister came down for a long weekend. My hair's already sticking to my neck. It's been 2 years since I saw her. Yeah, she was down for our birthdays. Our birthdays are 2 days apart. Down for our birthdays in 2019, and then of course 2020 it all went a bit wonky, didn't it? Anyway, yeah, she came down for I just looked at the screen. It looks really dark in here, doesn't it? I think it's because it's so bright outside. Just get to the point, Vivi. She came down for a long weekend. We went out. I can't wait to tell you about that. It was wonderful, utterly magical. Now, she didn't stay the whole time with me. She spent time catching up with other friends and going out and having a mooch in her old haunts, because I think it's got to be 30 years or more since she worked and lived in London. She only worked and lived in London for a short time before she moved north. But yeah, so she had a little mooch to her old haunts. The day she was doing that, here at the Allotment, we had one of our work party days. So for anyone who's new to the channel, doesn't know what I'm talking about, a work party day is when the community comes together, so all sorts of different plot holders, we come together to do maintenance work. We do it once a month. So one of the jobs every month, cheerio Rusty, is all the mowing, because all the paths are grass, so obviously they need mowing. I always volunteer. You know how much I love to mow a grass path. And that reminds me, I tipped out some grass clippings on one of my only empty bed. No, the tomato beds are empty too. Anyway, I tipped them out. I need to now put them onto some of the brassicas as a mulch for winter. But I will water first, because I'm going to have to water today. It's so dry, so hot. Yes, we had our work party. It was also our apple pressing day. So a few years ago we invested in a really beautiful wooden apple press, so everyone can bring their apples. We also have some communal apple trees that we all share together. I wasn't there for the apple pressing because I was getting other stuff together, both for my sister and doing a bit of work. But back to the work party, which was in the morning. So yeah, essentially it's all about grass cutting, and you know, if the perimeter fences need fixing, overhanging branches, that sort of thing. And for quite a while, I think for about the last 3 months or so, we've all had once a month our sort of circular letter that goes to everyone to sort of remind folk of two things. One, please make sure you don't have any overhanging vegetation sort of hanging over onto the paths that everyone uses. whether that be our main central path or the little side paths. You know, like the one on the back side of my plot, that side path where the hedge is. So, so folk have been reminded about that over and over again. Plus, all trees are supposed to be kept to a maximum height of 6 foot. Just, you know, so we don't shade other plots out, and also, you know, in terms of roots, so they're not getting massive and sucking moisture out of someone else's plot, etc., etc. So on this particular work party, where people haven't, excuse me a second, oh no, I'll say that, I've got a new neighbour. Yeah, people have had these reminder letters over and over and over again and haven't done it. So as part of the work party, it was a case of, right, yeah, we'll get all the grass paths mown, but we're going to go around with snippers, clippers, loppers, and we're going to once and for all deal with all these overhanging branches, brambles, you name it. Now, because I had quite a busy day that day, I only stayed for an hour. I did a whole load of grass mowing, and then I was about to leave. And I was quite I was apologetic, saying, "I'm so sorry, I've only got an hour to spare today." And I said, "Look, I tell you what, at some point in the week, I'll free up some time. I'll deal with that hedge that's next to my plot. I'll do that as part of my work party duties, as it were." Kind of dreading it, because I was thinking, I've just got a pair of secateurs. It's probably going to take me 5 or 6 hours. But never mind, I will do that as part of my work party effort. Anyway, as I was getting ready to leave, a couple of the crew came over, and one of the guys has actually got, I was going to say electric, it's battery operated, a hedge trimmer, and he started in on it. So much quicker and easier with a hedge trimmer. By the time I left, he'd done about a third of it. It looks so big and wide now. I'll show you in a second. It looks so much better. And the main thing for me, never mind being hit in the head with stuff, there were brambles coming out right at sort of cheekbone height. Scared the living daylight out of me, the idea of being lacerated, or my eyeball. I mean, fortunately I have my glasses on most of the time. But the other thing was, right at the bottom, the honeysuckle was sticking out 2-3 feet in some places, and there were twice in the last couple of weeks I've stepped on one end of the honeysuckle, the free end, and I've effectively made a tripwire, so that as my other foot comes through, it gets caught in it and it sent me flying. So I'm so relieved that's done. I'm relieved it's done in terms of just accessibility and me not worrying about tripping and all that. But I'm also so glad it's done, because if I was going to do it, it would have taken me ages with just a little pair of secateurs. So, yay! I'll go and show you that. Now, the main job for today, oh, let's have a cloak away. It really is quite warm already. The main job for today, and it's perfect for it, is to harvest my flower crops. I'm pretty late doing it with the calendula. I know, I keep saying I'm late, but it's true. Everything this year has been really late. I've missed the best of them. I'm hoping by what I'm going to do today to encourage some more blooms. But it's a perfect day today because it's bone dry out there. There was a day, I think 2-3 weeks ago, when I thought, and I was just coming back to the garden and just trying to get into the flow of the garden again, getting all set to do it. It was my priority job that day, and it was just a drizzly, mizzly day. Not the kind of rain that will soak the ground, not the kind of rain that soaks me to the skin and stops me gardening, but it was just damp enough that, you know, harvesting flowers like that and then bringing them in the shed so they're damp, and in the shed it's warm, they will just go mouldy. So today's perfect, yay! So I'm just going to show you in here, because honestly it's so bright out there. We will go outside in a second, I promise. what I am looking for, the perfect bloom, I've grabbed a couple. How pretty. Pretty girl. This is what I'm looking for. The flower is completely open. Gorgeous. Gorgeous. It's fresh as a daisy, fresh as a calendula. Beautiful. So any like that will be going into one basket, and these are what I will dry for their petals, for their medicinal properties, their beautiful healing properties, and this is what's going to be eventually become calendula oil, and then eventually calendula balm. So that's it at its best, at its freshest. So this is what I'm after today. But while I'm in the bed, literally every head is going to come off today. Like I said, I want to encourage more growth. I have got, this is end stage. Let me show you as a comparison. So this one is the absolute last stage. This is the seed head. Now because I'm so late, there are loads of seed heads, so I should have plenty of seeds. I may leave a few flowers, a few more to grow for seed saving, but essentially, have I got any? I've got a few spare seeds left from last year's harvest anyway, but that's the very, very last stage, and that's what I harvest for the seed. In between, there are sort of 3 other stages. Let me see if I can show you these side by side. So, whoop, bear with me a second. So we've had that. That's what I'm after for my harvest, for making my body products. And then we get these 3 little stages. So let me show you individually. This is the first one. I could actually rescue those petals and dry them, but you can see how petals are shrivelling up, and deep down it's still bright green in there, but can you see little curls underneath them? That's the beginning of the seed forming. This stage is too early to use them for seed saving. Those seeds aren't mature yet. Then a few days later it will look like this. Let's see if we can get the light a bit. So you see the petals are really disappearing, and can you see now, you see the little green curls inside, how they're really fattening up. They're getting more and more mature. And then eventually all the petals have gone. So you can still see the centre of the flower, but inside you can now see how, yeah, those seeds are getting really, really plump in there. Great. Until eventually we get to the one I just showed you. It's all seed and nothing else now. Fantastic. They rub off very easily until we get this tiny, tiny, minuscule, I don't know if the camera's going to cope with that, teeny tiny minuscule seed. Actually, it's not a minuscule seed, say, compared with celery, but literally one flower could give me, there are about, let me turn it to the light a little bit. You see, there's got to be 20 seeds in there. Fantastic. 20 seeds, 20 new plants. So as I go around today, I'm going to have 3 baskets. I'm going to have one for my flowers, not a basket but a paper bag for my seed heads, because they'll start dropping as soon as I pick them. And then, so basket for flowers, paper bag for seeds, and also my big old trog, or big new trog, for everything between to just be chopped up to go into the compost. Crikey. Right, I'm going to take you outside and show you what happened behind my plot on our work party day. So, this is the work that was done. Oh my goodness, I've got a path again. So just to orientate you, I'm right here down on the end of my plot. There's my sort of deck, compost bins, cold frame. I always start the tour up in that corner where my plot sign is. But this is fantastic. this clump on the corner has been a particular problem because it had come out to, I mean, it was pretty much here. So there's a little bit of grass here, you could kind of go that way. Now officially my bed here could come to here, but I've never brought it to here because of this. You'd never get past. We have a rule about path widths. In the old days, well, until about 2 years ago, it was always that the paths, these side paths, should be at least 18 inches wide. But that rule has been changed now to 24 inches, just to make sure that everyone has sort of good access. Because 18 inches, if you're coming down with a watering can in each hand or a wheelbarrow, it's not very wide. So yeah, this has been massively cut back. Brilliant. I mean, I look down here now at the path width. That's my edge of my bed all the way. I mean, it's even wider than 24. This is another bed, my squash bed on the end. I was told a couple of years ago that I could extend it and the next bed up. So at the top, those top two beds, they are, further out, and all my beds have come backwards in like a stagger because of this. So maybe this is a winter job, not only because I want to neaten the edge, but I could just grab another 6 inches or so. And the same would be true in the TP bed. It's hard to get an idea of it from here, I think, but let me show you right on the corner and you'll see. Maybe that's the edge of that bed coming in, that's the edge of this bed. And now, standing back, you can see that's the edge of my bed there. It's nearly 3 feet wide there. Yay! I can grab a bit. Oh, a bit of growing space, brilliant. They did a fantastic job on this. Really good. And they haven't actually harmed any of my neighbours' plants in terms of, look, still got the lovely roses. Still got all this. Oh, it's just masses of ivy. Honeysuckle further along. And like I've always said, I love having this green backdrop to my garden. But it had it was just ridiculous. And you won't probably be able to see, but the path slopes, because what's happened over the years, it's right in shadow now, but there's about 8 inches of path here that everyone uses, and it's sunk because no one's been able to use that side of the path. So not only did they trim all this hedge plant material back, they've also had a really good trim of the grass, which is great. Oh, I'm chuffed. I'm so chuffed. And then on the end, this buddleia and bramble have been cut right back, so I don't have to worry about having my eyes scratched out when I do my watering and what have you. But also, I suddenly feel like for the morning time, I've got more light here. Fantastic. Yay. Oh, I'm chuffed. Wow. Scorched, parched. I mean, never mind. We haven't been hot, like I said, but we have been really dry these last couple of weeks. Just looking back down the path. Oh my goodness, so much space. Yeah, we have been so dry. Actually, I think I've had my eye off the ball, because let me just show you in here. I think I needed to have started watering sooner. I mean, just look how yellow everything is going. And beans are actually starting to dry on the vines, and it's beans that I don't want to have dried. I want to have them demi-sec. If I've missed the boat with some of them, so be it. I'll just have them dried. Oh, and disappointment this morning. Let's come through here. Oopla. So, do you remember in the tour I showed you this... Oh, you cheeky blighter, get off. I showed you this Musqué de Provence. And I said, there's a sister plant in here. I'm going to tiptoe if I can. And under the cukes, the sister plant had put out a fruit. Well, it's been attacked. It's been attacked and it's rotting. No, what a pity. That's the year of saying, oh, what a pity, and oh, never mind. Yeah, it's definitely... Oh, I just stood on that snail that I removed from the Musqué. Oops, sorry. Yeah, it's definitely a year for being grateful for what we've got. But look, the leaves are starting to drop already. I don't know the actual date. I think it might be the 6th of September today. Oh, look, the paprikas are really starting to colour up now. These two... I mean, it's so bright you can't see the colour. You know what? I can see a few more have been... Oh no, I've lost a few more. I think I'm just going to have to harvest the lot. Even the unripe ones, because... Oh, I've lost 2 more there. Yeah, let's just have the lot off before I lose any more pesky slugs this year. I mean, I hope, looking back this way towards my neighbour's hedge, I hope cutting some of that back, maybe it's got rid of a few of the snail hiding places. We'll see. Anyway, that's not the job for today. Oh, I've just remembered something else as well. So, you can see that's the empty bed I was talking about. That's the grass clippings from the mowings the other day. Most of the clippings were spewed out of the sort of side of the mower rather than into the clippings hopper. It's a bit disappointing, but I'm going to use those to mulch this front brassica bed. Oh, they're growing. Yes, they're definitely growing. When was that? Was that about a week ago I put them in? Yeah, they look grand. So what I'll do is I'll whip the net off, give it a really, really good soaking, and then grab those grass clippings and whack them on as a mulch. You know, it's something I'm always saying is, don't put your mulch onto bone dry ground, because all you're doing is locking in the bone dry. Get the ground really good and soaked, and then mulch. And then put the nets back on, because the little cabbage white butterflies are still doing their thing. Ta-ra, Rusty! He keeps kind of coming in and out of the shed for cuddles, and then, because it's so hot in the shed, deciding, no, I'll come back outside, and then he comes back in, but I think, bit of breeze picking up. That's a nice shady spot for you, isn't it, buddy? Hey, is that better, gorgeous boy? Oh, you lie there. And I'm going to get stuck into this lot. So, kit, stool, gloves, because calendula are sticky. It's the one thing I don't like about the calendula harvest is the sticky. Basket for open flowers that I'm saving. Paper bag, seed, trug for chopping up rubbish to go in the compost. I'll gather all the flowers in the basket, but they won't stay in that, because as the petals dry, they'll fall through the cracks. But for now, that's the kit I've got to hand. That will do me. You know, it's quite a lot to get on with, isn't it? And it won't happen unless I stop yakking. So I'm going to stop yakking and get on. Yes, the clutter outside my shed, all of this needs to come home to be washed. Now, I just want to show you something, but a little warning. If you are an arachnophobe, please look away now, and I'll tell you when you can look back. One of the things I love about this time of year are all our beautiful... Oh, how can I get you? Or maybe if I get you against the white of the shed. Our beautiful spider friends. Oh, sorry, I said the S word. Anyone who's not watching but listening. Anyway, yeah. It's that lovely time of year, isn't it, in autumn, when they're spinning their webs like mad. I'm not quite sure. I want to show you another one now. Hang on. Just coming around and try not to pan too quickly. But this beauty, let's see if I can find you again. There we go. This beauty, oh, there are two, has been busy all morning making a web under the that goes from the top of the table to the leg of the table. Yeah, so I'm not sure why we get so many spider webs in autumn. I'm guessing they're sort of making a load of webs in order to catch as many insects as they can now. Oh, so here's another whopper. As many as they can now before winter. Oh, look at your beauty. Oh, gorgeous. Look at you with your stripy stockings on. I hope you and that one are going to get on okay. So yeah, that's maybe something I need to look up. Why do the spiders go mad at this time of year? Spinning their huge webs, and so often it's right across the paths. What I get is a lot of webs being spun between the bean arches. So as I walk through the bean arches, invariably I get a face full of web and spiders. I don't mind, I think they're gorgeous. The only thing is, I always think, oh, I'm so sorry, I've just destroyed all your work. Right, I shall leave you in peace. Oh, did you feel movement? Oh, maybe I accidentally tapped your web. Yes, beautiful creature. I'm going to leave you alone to do your fly catching. It's tapping on all its little lines. Feeling. Is there a fly? Is there some yummy supper yet? Okay, buddy, I'm going to leave you in peace and get on with my flowers. Gosh, this is taking me really quite a while, and it's so hot. Oh my goodness, what a surprise. Let me just grab another handful. I've decided, I decided to bite the bullet with this lot. They're so over for the most part that I'm cutting them, instead of just harvesting heads, I'm cutting them right back to where there are little new shoots at their bases. This is certainly my poorest flower harvest ever, but my best seed harvest ever. Oh dear. Never mind. There will be enough for one pot of balm, if nothing else. It's also revealing parsnips that I haven't seen for a while, because I think it was sometime at the beginning of August, whatever, we had a load of rain and it just smashed them down. So, in a way, another reason for getting them really cut back is let these parsnips get some light. Let's grab another handful. I'm stretching over to the far side rather than putting this stool in there because I can't get in there because of the chickpeas. I just wanted to say a word as well about what I was mentioning earlier about breeze. Sort of cutting back, overhanging things, and this issue with the trees getting above 6 foot and needing cutting back. Of course, for some of the fruit trees, it's the wrong time of year to prune them, so we haven't. And, it's not a case of the committee and the work party volunteers going around heavy-handedly just hacking stuff. It's done carefully. And in a number of instances where folk have taken on a plot, they may have inherited trees. That's certainly the case with 4 or 5 plot holders I can think of who've taken on plots in the last 3 years or so, or more recently. They've inherited trees which have gone mad, but they've never had a garden before. They don't know. They haven't got a clue about pruning. So let's just grab another handful. Talk and work. what was lovely about the work party we just had was that there were a few of the volunteers were going around and actually giving pruning lessons to folk who are new. So yeah, get things under control again, but done in a gentle way, so as not to, hurt the plants. And also, where possible, share knowledge. I think it's one of the wonderful things about gardening in a community is even if you're a total novice, there'll always be someone around you can get advice from. If we've got a new person starting and I see what they're doing and I think, oh, I wouldn't do that, it's too early, it's too late, or whatever, I don't say anything. Not my business to. But if that newbie comes along to me and says, oh, say it was right now, oh, do you think I could start some tomatoes now? Then of course I'm going to share my experience and say, I think not, it's too late. So yeah, if someone asks, I will share. I just don't ever want to get into someone else's face and give them advice where they don't want advice. Because the other thing is, a lot of people, another handful, talk and work. Oh, it's a bit of a stretch, this one. Oh la la. Yeah. Oh la. We have to remember that there are loads of people who get a plot, like me. They've experienced growing before, whether it's in their own space or their parents or grandparents like I had. They may have had a garden before, and you don't want to go up to someone and say, ooh, don't you think you should be doing X, Y, Z? And it's like, you know what, they may know way better than the person who's trying to advise. So yeah, I think we've got a nice balance here of precious, of folk who are more than willing to help and advise and show and demonstrate, but only if they're asked. And I think the other thing that I really like about this site is when new people start, I think most of us, when we say hello and introduce ourselves, I think most of us pretty much will always say, if there's anything you need, you want, you're wondering about, just give me a shout. And that way you can kind of let someone know that you're there for them if they need you, but if they don't, you're not going to get in their business. Oh, goodness me, this is a time-consuming job. Building works have just started up. I was about to say, it's a time-consuming job on a really hot day, but it's a lovely job. Actually, in a way, I'm sort of feeding two birds with one scone. New expression, thank you everyone who suggested that. Even though I say scone, not scone. Feeding two birds with one scone. I'm getting a harvest sorted. It's three birds, isn't it? I'm getting my little harvest sorted. I'm gathering my seed for next year. And I'm doing a little bit of that kind of autumn time clear up. Now the thing about the calendula is they are really, really hardy little plants. I mean, I've seen calendulas go right through winter. Really tough little plants. So what I'm hoping is I've cut it all back right almost to the ground, but where there's shoots, I'm hoping they may, come up again. They may suddenly have that shock of like, oh, we had a load of seeds we were putting out and our seeds have gone, we're going to have to try again. Quick, put out more flowers. You never know. I'm going to give it a good watering. But yeah, I may get a second flush, and if I get a second flush, they'll be fine through winter for the most part. So yeah, it's good. Bit of a tidy, bit of a harvest, bit of seed saving, bit of a sweat. Actually, I'm just here next to my neighbour's little cherry tree here, this darling little tree, and it's just shading a little bit of me, keeping me out of the worst of the scorchio heat. Right, I think I've probably whittled on enough. Oh, let me just show you the basket of flowers so far. Honestly, it really is hardly any, but it's, oh la la, such a pretty sight all the same, isn't it? Oh, lolly, lolly, lolly. I think I've got about that much more again to come off this. I think I've done 2/3 of the bed. I've got another third to go, but this top end, this third of the bed, had more open blooms in it, so maybe about that much again. Who knows? Anyway, I digress again. It's time for me to say cheerio to you all. If the heat doesn't beat me today, it's about 2 o'clock now. It's taking so long. If the heat doesn't beat me, I've got another job in mind for this afternoon, and if I crack into that, I'll bring you along with me. Whatever, I will see you all again really soon, I hope. In the meantime, eye plane again. In the meantime, you know, if you've got a bit of sunshine, make the most of it. If you are a sun lover, I'm a sun lover. I love heat, I love warmth. Make the most of it while you can. I think in the UK we've got one more day like this, and then, yeah, it'll be winter. Bye for now, everyone. Be good.